Hi everyone, Ryan here with Fight Game Analysis, and today we are going to be talking about Caleb Plant. But before we jump into that, if you've been enjoying the content, please go ahead and click on the like button and also subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate your support. Alright, so Caleb Plant just last night on Saturday comes out with a very impressive, dominant victory over Caleb Truax. You know, he's still undefeated at this point, 21-0 in his career, just moving through 168 pounds, snatched up the belt. IBF, defended it a couple times now, and he's looked good while he's doing it. Now, just prior to this fight, we found out Canelo's got two fights scheduled, actually, right? He's got the one fight, kind of what we consider a stay busy fight. He's got that scheduled for in February, and then he's got a fight scheduled against Billy Joe Saunders for Cinco de Mayo weekend. Now, you can see that fight against Billy Joe Saunders. We can see, based off of that and what Eddie Reynoso has said in some conversation, Canelo's looking to unify the division. He wants to go out here at 168 pounds, and he wants to be the first ever undisputed champ at that weight. Provided he comes out through with that victory in February, which he's a super favorite in, provided he wins that fight against Billy Joe Saunders in May, that sets up what we're looking at here, the potential clash between Caleb Plant and Canelo. Now, Caleb Plant's been answering some questions about it going into last night's fight, coming out of last night's fight. Right in the post-fight, he was asked about it. What do you think? His response, as you could expect, you line him up, I'll knock him down. I'll take the Canelo fight. I'm telling you, I'm out here. I'm the champ. All of these things. And that's what we'd expect him to say. I mean, how could the man not be incredibly confident in his own skills? What would he be doing out there if he wasn't? He's a professional fighter, right? So, of course, I expect him to say that stuff. But is that the truth? Is he going to be able to go out there? Is he going to be able to look impressive and pull off the victory against Canelo? I mean, only one guy's been able to do it so far, right? Floyd Mayweather. I'll tell you what. In my opinion, if we take Floyd Mayweather out of the equation, Canelo was a lot younger at the time. Styles make fights, different weight classes, everything else. If we take that one fight and put it to the side, and we look at Caleb Plant versus Canelo, the first thing that comes to my mind about it is that Caleb Plant would very likely be the most elusive fighter that Canelo's faced. I mean, to a degree, don't get me wrong, he fought Arzlandi Lara, and Lara is super elusive, but it's a very different style. He uses way more footwork. He's all over the ring much more. Caleb Plant has a way of being elusive while being in front of you. Now, he's got some really good footwork. He moves in and out well. He controls the distance the way he wants to. He's got quick feet. But he's got some very good upper body movement. He's got some very good head movement. He fights with that left hand low, uses the shoulder roll a lot, so he knows how to hide his chin behind that shoulder when he wants to get underneath shots, get to the angle to get off his counter. He's a very good counter puncher, particularly with that left hand. You know, you watched him last night. That left hand is educated. Uses it in a jab, doubles up the jab, hides the hook. Looks like he's going to shoot the jab, comes behind it with the hook. The way he will shoot the jab and then kind of move to an uppercut just to keep his opponent guessing. He'll change the angle in between two shots. Shoot the left hand, move a little bit, and then shoot it again. That's all really high-level stuff, man. A lot of guys can't get those types of shots off, and he does. That actually goes to the one knock that's been against him. Maybe the reason he's been able to get those types of shots off is because of his level of competition. You know, Caleb Plant hasn't exactly gone out there and beaten a who's who of the division. He doesn't really have anybody impressive on his resume. Even last night against Truax, I mean, sure, we know who Caleb Truax is, but he's old now, man, and he's not who he used to be, and he was never the absolute man, even when he was at the height of his career. I mean, he's a journeyman at this point. Plant was coming into the fight at, a minus 3,000 favorite. So you think about how big of a favorite that is, just how much he was expected to win. Everybody, as a matter of fact, expected him to get the knockout. It wasn't even really about if he was going to win. It was about how he was going to win. And a lot of people expected him to be not only very impressive, but to come out with that knockout victory, which he didn't. He pitched a shutout. Super dominant, super impressive in that regard. 120 to 108, I think, on all the scorecards. In the post-fight, he said he hurt his hand somewhere around the early to middle rounds, like 3, 4, 5, somewhere around there, which kind of explains not end up landing the power shots that he wanted to get him out of there, but still, just boxed his ears off. Still just completely dominated, ring generalship. He was the man in there, never really in trouble. Except that leads me to one more thing. He was never really in trouble, but he did get hit with some shots. He did get hit with some clean right hands. I mean, wide open, head is right there, just gets caught with them. Right on the cheek, maybe, I don't know, half a dozen or so. First one, I think, was right in the beginning of the third round. And it wasn't exactly like they were sneaky. It wasn't exactly like Truax did a lot to set him up. They weren't inside close. All of a sudden, he cut an angle, blocked something. I mean, he just came in and landed clean right hands. You're not going to be able to get away with that against a guy like Canelo. First of all, Canelo punches much harder. His timing is much better. He knows how to set shots up to get you to draw stuff out so he can land those kinds of things. Let me tell you, if Caleb Plant wants to compete amongst the top in the division, particularly against a guy like Canelo, and I know he wants to, he's holding on to that belt. I mean, that's prime real estate that people are going to be looking for when Canelo wants to unify. If he wants to go in there and he really wants to do good, man, he's going to have to figure out a way to get out of the way of those right hands. Because if Caleb Truax is able to land him, there is no way that Canelo's not going to be able to get off those shots. Canelo's got beautiful counterpunching. He's got fast hands. His timing is good. He knows how to set them up to put you in position and cut the angles. What's Caleb Plant going to do to be able to get an answer for that? I mean, he's got the physical skills. I don't know if it's a lapse in judgment. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, he carries that left hand low, and he's able to use it great offensively. We saw when he's able to land those up jabs. We saw the way he's able to hide it behind some shots. Truax couldn't see it coming. But what's it mean for you defensively when you're carrying that left hand low? You got to be really aware at those times. You got to know how to hide it behind your shoulder. You got to know what angle things are coming at. You got to be willing to just, on a hair trigger, get underneath stuff, lean back. There were a few times last night where he got caught slipping. And you're not even going to be able to do that once against a guy like Canelo. Because not only is he going to land that right hand with more power, he's going to come back with a ferocious left hook to the body and try and just make your liver explode. So, you know, Caleb Plant, he does look better in every single fight that we see him in. I really like the way he looks. I like his style. I like what he brings to the table. He's just going to have to continue to get better and do a little bit more if he wants to compete at the very top end of the division. So let me know what you guys think. Was that victory last night really impressive? Do you kind of hold it against him that he wasn't able to get a stoppage? And what do you think's in store for him at the end of the year? Does he get the fight with Canelo? And if he does, how's he look? Let me know what you guys think.